Eyewitness News begins with breaking news.
It's Thursday, February 20th. I'm Leslie Spoon, and we're following breaking news this morning. First, people on the Knicks parade route help explain what happened before a woman was rolled over and killed by a float. And a former Jefferson Parish councilman who was wrapped up in a wire fraud and tax invasion case dies of an apparent suicide. We begin with the tragedy in the middle of last night's Knicks parade. A witness says around 9 o'clock last night, a woman walked between two sections of a tandem float near the corner of Magazine and Valance. She says she tripped over a hitch connecting the two sections and got caught under the back half of the float.
I mean, a couple of people went over trying to at least see what happened to her, but once they saw that, she was almost split in half, man, and everybody kind of dissembled and dispersed.
Video posted online shows New Orleans police officers inspecting the tractor, which was pulling the float. Another post indicates police officers spoke with the tractor's driver. Someone else on the parade route spoke to Sharice Gibson, indicating more about what she saw.
I was at the parade, and I was about a block away from where the accident happened. So what I saw was when I was at the parade and everything was normal. It was a big crowd and everything was fine, but there were the police on foot had the tractors pull over, and the tractor driver kind of got off, and something was really strange and something was going on. We realized something wasn't right, and after we realized that there was an accident, something bad happened, we walked a block down to on Magazine and Valance, where I saw the somber scene, and I saw where the actual accident happened. It was just really sad. A lot of people standing around, not really knowing what to say or do. I mean, it's just really, really unfortunate.
Parade goers say the news of the death sent shockwaves among the crowd. They do not know how to respond to the tragedy during a time of celebration for the city.
I think we noticed, and we tried to lessen the impact for everyone else. And then we gradually decided, are we going to head home with loved ones? Are we going to help out loved ones? Are we going to keep going so that families can keep enjoying, like, the first day of deep Mardi Gras?
A post to Twitter indicates Knicks' crew captain broke down in tears upon hearing about the tragedy. Captain Julie Lee released a statement a short time later saying, quote, "On such a joyous night, this is obviously a tragic occurrence. The parade takes a back seat when something like this happens on the route. On behalf of the entire crew of Knicks, along with the city of New Orleans, we offer our most sincere condolences to family and friends of the individual involved." Only about half of Knicks' floats rolled because of this incident. New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell and emergency managers stand by their decision to hold back floats behind this scene.
And given the circumstances, I'm sure that you would agree, making sure that the parade was canceled at the start of Float 22 was the proper thing to do. The coroner's office just showed up. It's under investigation, and we'll inform you as soon as we know more.
Fatal float-related accidents are rare, but they have happened in the past. Back in 2008, an Endymion float rider died when he was hit by a float. And according to our partners at NOLA.com, a 3-year-old girl was crushed to death by a carnival float back in 1981. Stay with us this morning. We'll take you live to the Uptown Parade route in our next half hour for more on this tragedy. Turning now to this morning's other breaking news story, it appears the former Jefferson Parish councilman indicted in a wire fraud and tax invasion case has taken his own life. Plaquemines Parish deputies say they found Chris Roberts' body in a wooded area in Belle Chase late last night. While the official cause of Roberts' death remains under investigation, deputies call this an apparent suicide case. A grand jury indicted Roberts in May of last year with 29 counts of wire fraud and tax invasion. Most of the counts were tied to Roberts' work managing a landscaping company. Prosecutors say he used money from that business for personal purchases. They also said he hid a significant amount of his annual income on tax returns. Jefferson Parish Sheriff Joe Lapinto released a statement late last night on behalf of Roberts' family. It reads, "With deep sympathy and great sadness, the family of Chris Roberts acknowledges that he passed away this evening after a long battle with depression. The family asks for your prayers and support during this difficult time. Please respect the family's privacy during this difficult time." Stay with us for continuing coverage of this death. Megan Key will join us in our next half hour to break down the councilman's history and politics, along with his legal battles.
With that severe weather potentially coming our way, emergency managers are concerned about the Hard Rock Hotel site with one of the demolished cranes still on top of the building. Megan Key has been live at that site last week and throughout the weekend, and she's there this morning to give us the latest. Hi, Megan.
Hey, good morning, Sheba. Yeah, with those storms headed our way, it's crunch time for emergency officials to move that part of the crane that's still hanging over Canal Street and also clean up the crane that crashed right into North Rampart. You can see it's still sitting there. Crews haven't had a chance to remove it yet, but I expect that'll happen here pretty soon. Now, we all watched yesterday as engineers imploded the cranes with small explosives, bringing both of them down in the shape of an umbrella collapsing. But there were a few complications. The implosion left part of one crane hanging over Canal Street, and the top of one of the cranes projected to hit the building fell onto North Rampart, damaging the sewer line. Now, the Sewage and Water Board crews rerouted that line, but compared to the worst-case scenario of what the city prepared for, the city says this ended well.
It's way better than what it looks, okay? I know what it looks like, but if you remember, we talked about cutting the crane, remember, and then it hooking on the building. It's exactly what it did. And then the counterbalances on that, going right into the building at the base of the crane, it's exactly where they are. So it hooked on the building like we wanted it. It's very stable. Remember, very initial assessment. The way you get it down is you take another crane, you hook to it, and you cut it in pieces one at a time till you get it down. But remember, that stability of it being at that height, everything now is in the construction site. And that was our goal, and that crane did exactly what we expected it to do.
Well, the next steps are recovering the bodies of two of the construction workers who were killed and returning them to their families. And after that, it's full demolition of the site. Stay with Eyewitness News for the latest. Reporting live on North Rampart, Megan Key, Eyewitness News.
All right, and we will continue to monitor this site. Thank you, Megan.
April, thank you. Following a rash of violence in New Orleans, NLPD Chief Sean Ferguson insists the city will not allow the acts of a few deter us. 3 separate shootings leave 2 families suffering losses of loved ones this morning. 13 other families wait for shooting victims to recover. Take a look at your screen. The violence started early yesterday morning when the gunfire broke out on a crowded Canal Street. Then a shooting near Hardin Park killed 2 people. 2 others were injured. Hours after that incident, someone shot another person in the 7th Ward. A $5,000 reward is being offered to the person who helps bring in the person or people responsible for the gunfire on Canal Street. NLPD officers have not said if they know the motive for the shooting, which left 10 people injured. They question one person about the incident. They do not call that person a suspect.
So we did detain an individual. This is still in the preliminary stages of the investigation. We do not know if this individual have any involvement in this incident as of right now.
The area was crowded at the time of the shooting because of people in town for the Bayou Classic. Some people say it was so crowded it was difficult to even walk.
I couldn't even get through. I had to literally push my way through people.
I don't come out when it's like that. I don't come out when it's like that.
Mayor LaToya Cantrell issued a statement following the shooting. She called the shooting an ugly disruption of an otherwise beautiful holiday weekend. To the spread of the coronavirus in Louisiana, New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell says one of the patients hospitalized in our area is in an intensive care unit. She says another patient is doing fine, and she has not commented on the condition of the other patients in our area. Yesterday, the mayor took the step of canceling multiple events around expected to draw big crowds. She hopes this will help people stop the spread of the virus. One of the canceled events would have been today's Wednesday at the Square concert. Other events canceled around town include St. Patrick's Day parades in New Orleans and Super Sunday. For more information on the cancellations, visit our website. State Health Department workers say that they've completed 43 tests for this virus. Here's what Louisiana doctors look for before they follow through with testing. They will only test people who fit criteria set by the CDC. The criteria includes sick people who have recently visited China, South Korea, or Italy. It also includes healthcare providers who cared for someone who had symptoms of the virus, and it includes patients showing symptoms who have not tested positive for other illnesses. New Orleans Health Director expects to see more testing in the future.
We do expect to see testing ramp up this week as commercially available tests are available to local providers. Those conversations are happening now. That availability, from what I am hearing from local providers, is there, and so we should expect to see testing ramp up.
Yeah, those extra tests will help the criteria expand. If you think you have the virus, call the doctor or healthcare provider before heading to a healthcare facility. Doctors don't want you to possibly spread the virus if you're infected. When you make that phone call, you'll get direction about what to do next.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Devin Bartolotta. As the New Orleans area health system inches closer to capacity, more ventilators are on their way to Louisiana. Governor John Bel Edwards announced the strategic national stockpile will send the state an additional 200 ventilators sometime next week. The governor has requested 12,000 ventilators to deal with the crisis in the state. So far, Louisiana has received less than 10% of that amount, only 553 new ventilators. The federal stockpile has sent 150, 400 came from private vendors, and the state's National Guard has sent 3. Today's report from the Louisiana Department of Health shows that the state remains one of the hardest hit by the virus. Here are the latest numbers released today. 409 people have died from the virus in Louisiana. State and private labs confirm more than 12,000 cases. 1,700 patients are hospitalized with the virus, and 535 of them are using ventilators. Now, starting Monday, the Memorial Convention Center will start helping the city in its fight against the virus. COVID-19 patients who are well enough to leave the hospital will be treated at that facility. Another facility across the street will house up to 250 people who likely have the virus but whose results have not yet come back. The goal of these 2 facilities is a way to ease the pressure on local hospitals.
We are particularly vulnerable in Louisiana because we have so many comorbid conditions. A lot of diabetes, hypertension, obesity, renal disease, and it's difficult to look at the example of, let's say, Seattle and say exactly that that's what we're going to see here.
Now, health officials also wait on another 1,000 beds for the convention center. That should arrive by April 20th. The convention center's public safety director now faces criminal charges after police say he allegedly stole N95 masks from the convention center. This is all according to our partners at the Times-Picayune New Orleans Advocate. State police say Vernon Giscombe and a woman tried to drive away from the convention center with boxes of the masks. In total, troopers found 80 masks that were supposed to be used by medical workers. He faces 1 count of malfeasance in office, and he was scheduled for a bond hearing today. Time is winding down for you to help out first responders who are in desperate need of that personal protective equipment. A drive for unused and unopened equipment ends tomorrow. Here's what is needed: surgical, P100 and N95 masks, gloves, disposable medical gowns, goggles, and face shields. Again, all these supplies must be unused and unopened. You can find donation locations on our website, WWLTV.com. Again, that drive ends tomorrow.
Yes, sports upset some fans by saying the black and gold will not be making it to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, they did.
I don't think we're going to agree with that. And now fans are even more upset with their first power rankings of the season.
Well, it's not so much when the world's landed on the list, but who ranked ahead of them.
Okay. Well, CBS Sports ranked the Green Bay Packers as the top team going into the season.
I don't know.
You don't know about that?
No.
Okay. Well, then the
Patriots makes sense.
The Patriots make sense. So they're number 2, as you can see there.
Okay. I don't like them, but...
The Chargers? Really?
I don't get the Chargers.
The Chargers? I'm even from San Diego. Well, okay, sorry, LA Chargers. Yeah.
Formerly San Diego.
But the Saints are all the way in the number 7 spot. Look at that. And look, the Atlanta Falcons are number 6. Okay. I think that is a travesty.
All right.
A travesty.
I would take the Packers I don't get, the Chargers I don't get, the Falcons I don't get, but the other ones, New England, the Rams, and definitely the Chiefs, should be there.
Okay, well, the Saints need to be like
I think we
way higher on that
maybe
list.
Number 4. All right. Well, the Saints have the chance to get ahead of Atlanta this coming Monday. They'll play the Houston Texans here in New Orleans. That game is at 6 p.m.
Yeah, and
normally you're thinking, wait a minute, why is that so early when they do the dual Monday Night Football first game of the season type thing? So that's why there's 2 games, usually an East Coast and a West Coast game.
Oh.
So that's why it's 6 o'clock, not.
News to me.
Normally the Monday night game is a little later on, but it's a 6 o'clock kickoff.
The only thing that you should know is to root on the black and gold.
Yes. Just
Go
something to know about.
Saints.
Go.
Pelicans fans have waited 96 days since the last time they got to see Zion Williamson in action. That was the preseason. The number 1 overall pick did suffer a knee injury and underwent surgery in October. But the young star remained popular on the sidelines, of course. According to NBA.com, Zion's jersey was one of the top sellers since the season started. It landed at number 15. That's not a shocker. Remember, Williamson broke the record for the most jerseys and T-shirts sold than any other rookie in league history. And the first 5 days after he was drafted as the #1 overall pick. Fans have also bought more Zion merch than the entire 2018 first-round picks combined. And he stayed popular online. Of course, Google data shows that more people have searched for the rookie on Google than Houston Rockets' James Harden and Milwaukee Buck Giannis Antetokounmpo. Both of those stars were the most recent league MVPs. Zion's name also popped up in more YouTube searches than Harden and reigning Rookie of the Year, Luka Doncic. And Zion will make his debut at just 19 years old. There's a lot of pressure on the young star to be the face of the franchise, a lot of pressure on his shoulders. Here's what he had to say about finally being on the court tonight with his teammates against professional players.
Well, I think there will be a learning curve, but I don't think it'll be nothing dramatic. I think it'll be something where, I think we're pros. I think we'll just adapt maybe after a game or two. My plan, to be honest, is to go out there and just contribute where Coach needs me.
All right, well, he did say he's probably not going to sleep, though. The Pelican rookie is confident he'll do well in his NBA career. We are, too. Williamson was born back in 2000, the year 2000. The average NBA player is 26 years old with nearly 5 years of experience under his belt. Here's some other notable things that happened the year Zion was born. The Lakers won the championship with Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. That kick-started their three-peat era. Gladiator won the Best Picture. Breathe by Faith Hill topped the Billboard chart, and the first camera phone hit store shelves.
Oh, wow, there you go.
It's unbelievable.
I know, 20 years ago, I mean, all that was going on, so.
I mean, you talk about the 90s or play some old hip hop, he's got no idea.
No, he has no idea.
I love that we both wore our Pelicans
I know,
red
I'm
this
trying
morning.
to get the navy and red going on there for today for game day. So.